Thank you, Rob. Hey, Wyatt, thanks for joining us. Hey, what does it mean? I know you guys don't want to get anywhere ahead of yourselves here, but what does it mean to be playing meaningful football games in December?
It's a great feeling, as a young player. I haven't experienced, a lot of success, and it's really cool to see, 8-3 in the city of Cleveland, and we're playing well, and see if we can keep on playing well, and play up to our competition, and win some games down the road.
You think that was you just brought it up. You think that was the case yesterday? You guys, I know you would never look past anybody, and that's a more talented 1 in 10 team than you really
Yeah.
are. Does that tend to happen though sometimes, Wyatt, that you can kind of either play down or play up depending on the record of the other team?
I just think that this is the NFL, and there's not like, I think to play at this level, you have to be a competitor, and regardless of your competition, you're going to play at a certain level, and that they're going to play at a certain level, and honestly, it's a matchup game, and it matters on a lot of the finish and stuff like that makes the difference in the game. But that was a good team, and they played us well.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Tom. To Zach Jackson.
Hey, Wyatt, I want to go back a few years when you switched from D-line to O-line. Who or what, kind of sparked that? And do you still have kind of a defensive line mentality in playing right guard?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was at Virginia Tech, and, as a joke during the recruiting process, I remember Torian Gray, who was a defensive back coach, was like, hey, look, you could play defensive line, or, you could get on the field early and play offensive line. I thought he was joking, whatever. It turned out, a bunch of injuries happened, and it really was the fastest way to the field. So I, went up to Coach Grimes, Jeff Grimes, who was our offensive line coach at the time. And I was like, hey, I'm willing to move to, offensive line to help the team. And, thinking that I was going to move back to defensive line at the end of the year. That didn't happen. So I was an offensive lineman from there. And, the first couple of years I played, all out and kind of, super aggressive. And, sometimes it bite me in the butt. And but it's a mentality, it's the mentality of the way you play. I'd say that, the big difference is proactiveness versus reactiveness. And that's one thing that I've had to learn a little bit is, the consistency of being, the proactive guy instead of the reactor. So.
Cameron Justice is up next. Cameron, we're having trouble hearing you. If you can make sure your microphone is turned on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we have you. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Wyatt, with the season that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have been having, the O-line has a lot to do with that. So, is there any added pressure to perform well for them, or is it just you going out there, doing your job, business as usual each week?
I mean, this is the NFL. You're always going to give your best effort, especially when you have good running backs like that. In great offensive linemen, Joel, JC, Jack, and Jed. I mean, we have a great group, and are gaining chemistry. It says that it takes years to gain chemistry among the offensive line. You can see that we're playing well off of each other. There's times where you will go against a really good player and he might make a bad matchup, but for the most part, we play well, and we're smooth and we can play off of each other. And, I think that helps the running backs. And one thing that makes us look better is having really good running backs. So it's a good problem to have. And, with our group, it helps.
Thank you, Cameron. Jeff Shadell, you're up.
Hey, Wyatt. 2 questions related, actually. Those 4th and inches, you guys have had trouble the past 2 games. Why do you suppose that is, and how much do you think getting Andy Janovich back will help you?
Yeah, I think that Andy's a huge part of our short yardage and goal line. Obviously, he's our fullback and an absolute stud in the backfield. So he's a big part of that. But I think that another issue is 10 out of 11 do it, and one guy just misses, and they get paid on the other side of the ball too, man. I don't want to get into the whole whatever, but they're really good players, and I think that sometimes it's a mismatch game, and sometimes when you have a big old defensive end on a tight end, it's a rough block, it's a tough block, and it's the same thing. If you have a big old 3 tech, he's not going to be easy to move. You know what I mean? If you have a big old nose, it's going to be hard to get a lot of push. So the biggest thing is, perfecting that technique, those fundamental techniques that, the tight ends coaches and, Bill Callahan coaches, those are the big ones. And those are the ones that are going to help you, hands inside, moving your feet and staying hat placement. There's those little things that really, really matter on those 4th and inches that, sometimes, you're tired or, you just don't know if this is the play, or sometimes you're going against a really good guy and you can give the best technique and he gets paid too.
Thank you, Jeff. Dan Lobby has our next question.
Hey, Wyatt. I think one of the things about this run game that's been so impressive is, you guys are getting big runs even when teams are kind of expecting it, stacking boxes, things like that. So where does that come from? How do you kind of find that success running the football, even when teams kind of are expecting, hey, they're going to run the ball here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that coach, he explains it the best, and it truly is, our offensive identity. And we started with it at the beginning of the year, back in April, was, he showed us all these clips of, run selling and pass selling at the same. And, when you make a run look like a pass and a pass look like a run, RPOs, it really can mess with the linebackers. So, sometimes, especially, recent game plans, you'll see us, run fast, and all of a sudden you'll see Baker turn around and he has the ball in his hand, and, the defensive end is sucked down. And it really does open up the run game because, sometimes they have to put someone on the back end, big cuts. I mean, we're moving guys, we're getting displacement. And, I think that opens up holes, and, especially with really good backs, it helps. And I think that, the run game has gotten better, and it's going to keep on getting better. And that's what it's got to do.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Scott Petrick, you're up.
Hey, Wyatt, I know you are what your record says you are. But do you feel like you need to beat more teams with winning records coming down the stretch to kind of legitimize this 8-3 record? Oh
yeah. I mean, obviously we have a really talented and great team ahead of us, and it's the most important game because it's the next one. Coach says that, and I'm going to steal that because that's important. It's a very important game because it's the next one, and it doesn't matter who's in front of us. If it's a team that's 1-10, or if it's a team that's 10-1, I think that it's important that we take our focus on each week and go 1-0. And it doesn't matter what the record is. If we always go 1-0, I mean that's a win. So,
gotcha. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Nate Ulrich, you're up next.
Hey, Wyatt, good to see you. We haven't talked to you in a little while since your comeback. So how are you feeling? How much are you fighting each week to get out there and play? Is the calf still something that you're kind of battling through?
I don't know. Like getting back, this is the first time I've ever really missed a play, let alone a game due to injury. So it's kind of weird, getting back and, taking 4 weeks off, getting conditioning back, getting all these stuff back. And then, and I'm never going to make an excuse, but, with the schedule, we can only be in the facility so much. So, getting in when you can and getting the work that you can, coming out 20 minutes early and staying 20 minutes late, that's the important stuff if we want to be great. And I think that, since the injury, it's been hard. And, that's one thing that I really talked to our offensive line assistant coach, Scott Peters, was like, I'm going to be out 25 minutes early and we're going to get 200 strikes in, just to start the day. Right. Like that's just, even if it's not 200 strikes, you know what I mean? Like we're just getting it out and we're getting early. And, I think that that's important to getting better, especially down this stretch.
Hey, so when you came back and Nick Chubb did, obviously it was a boost to the team. How excited are you about Myles Garrett coming back, and what do you think that can do for everybody heading into a big game? Coach told us earlier he's on track to be back Wednesday. That's
awesome, man. And I'm excited to have Myles back. Myles is a good guy, and he's my locker mate, so I love seeing him. But it's I think that he's a great player and he's a great addition to our defense. I mean, there's a reason Myles is who Myles is. So I think that that's going to be a great addition. And I think that he's going to bring a boost of morale to the defense as well. Even though our defense is, while missing one of the best players in the NFL, arguably the best, it's hard to it's hard to, fill those shoes. And I think that, Olivier has done that. I think that, AC has done that. We have, Sheldon doing that, Larry doing that. We have guys going up, but, I'm excited to see him back and see that fire again.
Thanks, Nate. We have Kadero Hodge in the waiting room. We'll go to Tony Grossi. We'll see if we can get one more in after that.
Okay. Hey, Wyatt, it's on to Tennessee and some similarities in their offense and what they want to do. Same kind of run scheme, blocking scheme. And they have Derrick Henry, you have Nick Chubb. So I'm wondering, over the course of the week, do you think the offensive line will take this as a personal challenge? It's almost like a heavyweight championship fight between those two backs. And you guys are very much involved as the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I'm not trying to give you too much coach talk, but I think that's important every week. Like, we have an identity in the offensive line, and the identity, one of it's the rush, like we want to impose our will. So late in the game, it doesn't matter if we're running the ball, we're going to try to beat you. I mean, you're going to be tired. We're going to try to run it all day. And, when you put 9 in the box, we're going to block it up, X's and O's, and, our finish is going to get us there. So I think there's a lot of important things of that. And, I think, it's important to, especially with these next games, is to focus on each one individually. So we can win. I mean, obviously it's always a personal challenge to outrush the other team, right? And especially with Derrick Henry, he's a great running back, and that offensive line who's great. It's going to be good to see, and of course we're going to take that as a personal thing, especially revenge game for Jack. So it's going to be fun.
Thanks.
Last one, Mary Kay.
Yeah. Hey, Wyatt, just wondering, when you heard that Denzel Ward also suffered a calf strain, I'm sure you felt for him, knowing what you've been through in the past month. So just wondering, have you been able to kind of, give him any tips or pointers on what he needs to do? And just kind of, how did you feel about that when you heard what happened to him?
Yeah, no, and it sucks, right? Any injury sucks. But I mean, the way that I looked at it, and that's the same thing I said to him, was, no matter what the injury is, God is good, right? Like, it can always get worse. It can always have a different thing, the same day that I pulled my calf or, calf strain, another great quarterback for the Cowboys, he broke his foot, and, he's, it would have been really, 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 really hard to see past that, but he's obviously, very strong-willed, and he, handled it like a man. But, it can always be different, and, you got to count your blessings. And that's what I said to him. It's like, dude, you're going to be back in no time. It sucks, it hurts, but, if it's going to come back as hard as you work. If you really take your rehab serious, it's going to come back just as strong. It's going to be weird when you first get back, and I'm realizing this past 3 games, but I feel like we're winning, and that's important. Obviously we can keep on getting better, and going through film, coach is a perfectionist, and he's saying, oh, we won, but we could have won by 20. We could have won by 25, 30, and it's like, wow, we really could have, if, your hand's here, your foot's there, and, you do it consistently. So I think that him, consistently working on rehab, I mean, that's a big part of football in general. So I think that he's going to be fine, and he's going to come back stronger than ever.